Now I would like to invite Shri Sudhanshu Pandey sir, Secretary Food and Public Distribution, Government of India, to please address the gathering. We'll be connecting sir through online mode.
Very good afternoon to everyone. First of all, my very sincere apologies for not being physically present. I was all scheduled to be there, and nearly I got there, but at the last minute certain developments happened and program had to be rescheduled. So I still continue to wait for my first visit to National Sugar Institute, Kanpur, which I have been very eagerly awaiting, and this was perhaps the right occasion to visit. I would like to first of all congratulate all the lifetime achievement awardees and also the industry excellent awardees who have been conferred this honor, and their contribution has been recognized in today's event. This is a very momentous occasion where 79th Annual Convention of the Sugar Technologist Association of India is being celebrated along with the Foundation Day, which perhaps happens to be 87th Foundation Day of the National Sugar Institute. We have been hearing, we were honored to have Her Excellency, the Governor of Uttar Pradesh, blessing the function with her kind words in the inaugural session. And then my colleague, Mr. Bhoos Reddy, he took all the trouble to come and be there with all of you on this occasion. So my special thanks to both the dignitaries for their extra effort in making this event a truly memorable event. Director Mr. Narendra Mohan has been interacting with me very often. I have been interacting with some of you on one occasion or the other, and I was really looking forward to this interaction today, which unfortunately having now in virtual mode and not the physical mode. Nevertheless, some of the speakers have very clearly brought out that what this industry has done to the nation, and we should feel all proud. When we got the clarion call of Atmanirbhar Bharat and we started introspecting, then suddenly one would realize that this is one sector where India is already Atmanirbhar, and actually it is trying to do much more by contributing to the global sugar industry through professionals, through its own research, through its own production, in every possible manner. I'm sure these 2 days interaction among all researchers, specialists, technologists, economists is going to be very useful. But as we say, I always believe that institution building plays an extremely important role in shaping the future. I am reminded, and if some of you have not read, then you must definitely read a book which is written by Acemoglu and Robinson, and the title of the book is Why Nations Failed. And the most interesting part of this book is that it emphasizes, it develops the story around 15th, 16th century from an area which is today's United States of America and Mexico, that region, and traces that how the institution building made the major difference and what a small village which was not part of undivided region at that time, was neither in Mexico nor in the United States of America. But later on, when half of the village went into USA and the remaining half came into Mexico, later how their future was shaped depending upon completely institution building. And though they were in the same neighborhood, had same climate, same land, almost same set of people, everything remaining the same, but institution building in the two regions made the difference. It's a very, very interesting reading. And why I am putting it in context here, whether it is the Sugar Technologists Association of India or NSI or any other institution of the state government or central government, unless we collectively nurture, strengthen these institutions, we cannot have continuity in the policy making, cannot have vision, cannot have policies mitigating the risk, and so many things which are required to be done otherwise. So therefore, through this congregation today, my message is that whether it is the industry association or it is the technologists association or the research institutions, they all work in different arenas. And in the context of sugar, they have an area where they are all operating, but all their vision must be focused in one direction, and that direction has to be how do we make the producer happy, how do we make manufacturer happy, and how do we make consumer happy. Unless all these stakeholders are happy, we would not be in a position to sustain any industry. This industry has undergone almost a transformational change with the introduction of ethanol. An industry which was virtually in red is now turning positive. Their projects are becoming bankable. Shares in the market are doing pretty well. But that is not the end, as was very correctly pointed out by Mr. Narendra Mohan, that we have to keep our eyes and ears open. And all these associations, whether the industry or the technologists or the automobile or the stakeholders at the high up the value chain or bottom down the value chain, unless they interact among themselves, we will not be able to make appropriate corrections in the policy in time so as to make industry even more viable. We have seen, as was mentioned, various phases of this industry. And as the world continues to evolve, the lifestyle changes are happening. This industry also has to be innovative, has to be creative, and this innovation and creativity has to be driven by technologists who have to be in forefront in shaping the future of any industry. I am sure many of you present here today are product of NSI, and you continue to have some bonding with this institution. But we have been discussing with the director that we have to actually, already this is a world-class institution, but we have to expand this institution to go into future areas which are going to be areas of both threats as well as opportunities. So unless we recognize those threats well in time, and we recognize also opportunities well in time, we will not be able to realign our strategies to be successful. I am once again extremely happy that the institution is making effort to diversify its activities, to expand its base, to make its contribution in creating world-class professionals who can not only assist the industry in India, but they can also provide consultancy services, research services, and whole range of other services across the globe. My visit to NSI remains due, and I'm sure it will be materializing very shortly, but I certainly miss the presence today in the campus. But I am sure your deliberations are going to be very meaningful, very purposeful, and very forward-looking. I only expect industry, as one of the speakers mentioned, we cannot close our eyes from various policies that are in public domain. You also have to look at how one policy is going to impact the sector, how the other policy is going to impact the sector, and what do we have to do both as technologists as well as policy makers to realign, to have the convergence so that there is no conflict between various policies in public domain. There have been, I was listening to the entire proceeding since the morning. I saw, and it was very, very impressive, that how various awardees have made contribution to this industry throughout their professional life. And I'm sure they are going to continue with the same zeal, the same passion, and will, in fact, the industry today is standing at a very vital threshold of a next round of success. You produced sugar and various value-added products of sugar. Now you are entering into new arena of, you were providing a kind of energy to human body. Now you are going to provide energy to various other mechanical operations on which human society depends. But the source of energy will continue to come from many of these bioproducts. How you are going to mitigate the impact that the production has on environment, climate change is a threat as well as opportunity. And sugar technologists now have to work in that area. How do you develop varieties through researchers which consume very little water? How do you make sugarcane cultivation sustainable? How do you develop technologies so that the discharge of effluents on the environment is minimal? All these are going to be future areas and very critical areas. And still, while working in these areas, you have to ensure that you remain competitive. This is the first requirement to survive, and you remain viable. Because in a global world today, unless you are in a position to face competition, like say, for example, we were not able to export sugar without the transport assistance and freight assistance, because for a variety of reasons, I am not going into those details, our production was not competitive and we were not able to compete in the global market. Somebody may blame the FRP, but basically we have to look inward and introspect and see that if the productivity levels, the process efficiencies and the production efficiencies are not very high across industry. Some segments of industry have been doing extremely well. In one of the Honorable Prime Minister's interaction, perhaps in Hardoi district, one of the farmer was having one of the highest productivity in that area. But that is not the case across country, because climate is different, rainfall is different, cultivation practices are different, the input supports are different. But optimization of all these can actually give better and more optimal results across India. Perhaps that is an area where we all need to work. So with these words, I would like to once again congratulate all the awardees, would like to thank all the participants, delegates, and wish you and your deliberations all success for next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words.